Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Junior.
And the amount of spiders in this basement is creeping me out.
And we're
The Nerdy Bros. Hey, what's up, everybody? Like, what was it? Is it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, I think we were wrapping up, like grabbing the stuff after we finished the podcast. And right next to one of the many, many unopened bags of pops that you have down here, there was a rather large spider.
Rather large black spider, yeah.
Yeah, and we were like, is it alive? And then it moved, and it was definitely alive. And for those Arachno fans, I'm very sorry. I killed it.
Yeah, and
but
then we
like,
found a dead spider, and then we just found another dead spider.
Yeah.
And they're pretty big.
They're
not like Daddy Long Legs big, where you're like, well, it's got a big body, but a bunch of skinny ass legs.
What? I don't even think
these
I've
almost
seen that
look
big of
like
Daddy Long
mini
Legs.
tarantulas.
Yeah, I would describe them as that.
Like they're like hairy.
I don't know if it's arachnophobia or maybe like there's like an insect phobia specifically. I don't like creepy crawlies, man. I don't like. If I see something like that, even though I don't kill, like I'm outside, they're in their natural habitat, and I don't do it, like I'm walking away, and then I get the sensation that they crawl all over me, and you get that like shiver down your spine. Like I would love to see like someone's reaction when like they're just looking at me talking about something, and then I do the like, like I just do that because like I feel like they just crawled all over me. And they're like, "Are you okay?" But yeah,
if some guy held a gun to you and was like, "Let this tarantula walk up your arm, or I'm gonna shoot you in the head," would you just be like, "Fucking kill me"?
What?
Fucking kill me now.
If he said, "Well, okay, so I mean, if I move, is he gonna shoot me?" Because there's like, it's just a reflex at that point. I was like, "You can put it on there. I can't guarantee that I'm not gonna move and freak the fuck out though."
Don't you remember the one time during CCD?
Yeah, they brought out like a bunch of animals and stuff. And one of the things was a giant tarantula. And they were like, "She don't bite. Put her just right on your arm."
They put it on. I remember they put it on my shirt, and then they're like, "All right, it's gonna like crawl up," and I was okay with that for a little bit. But then I'm like, "Okay, when are you gonna get it off of me? Because it's almost on my fucking face."
Yeah, no. See, I didn't volunteer for any of that. Yeah, I was like, "That's okay. I'm okay. I can do without. That's fine. It's not me. I don't need it." But I just now it's just wondering like how many more.
Some of them
here.
Jump.
They're just in the wrap. Yeah, some jump. Dude, I'm just waiting. Wasn't there like some Australian spider that had like wings and could fly?
I don't know about that.
That sounds even more horrifying.
There was the camel spider is like from Iraq, Afghanistan. I think it's also like it's predominantly in the Middle East, I think, but then it's also in Australia and shit. I always hate
those ones are huge.
Those
right?
videos, yeah, where there's like the giant spider up on the ceiling, and the person's like, "I'm gonna capture it," and right before they put the fucking like container over it, the spider's like, "No!" and like jumps off, and then you're like, "Fuck!"
No, f all of that. Like, I'm pretty quick with my chancla hand, so if you're on the wall or on the floor, I'll get you. Unless you're a jumping spider, in which case I'm just burning the house down. But no, something.
You ever seen the spider just beating little legs?
I don't want none of that.
And then I just looked up the lifespan of a spider. Fucking 2 to 20 years.
Which is insane. Like, was because we were talking about, I was like, I think I was like thinking about like how long does like a spider actually live, because like flies only have a 24-hour like lifespan. Yeah. And then Junior was like, "Yeah, so don't you kind of feel like a dick when you kill one in the house?" First of all, you kill way more in here than I
hate the flies. I hate it. I hate when they. I hate Peter Pan. I fucking hate it when the kids leave the doors open or whatever. I'm like, you let the dog out and you close the fucking door. There's no reason to leave it open. Now they got flies in the house.
Yeah, I think the bigger fear of like, you know, it's not so much that like, oh, I'm killing a fly and I don't care of the fact that it only lives 24 hours. It's more of like, if for whatever godforsaken reason there was food left out, like you're going to have maggots. And if you don't take care of that shit, then it went from one fly to like 100 flies.
Well, that's the thing I was going to say. I don't think it's possible that they only live 24 hours, because
I mean, I don't know. We talked about the bug's life a lot, and there's that famous scene where that fly who like acts like he's drunk gets like up from the circus and is like, "I only got 16 hours left to live and I ain't gonna waste them here."
Yeah. But if they all start out as larvae, there's no way that they go from larva to fly in like 7 hours or something, and then they got like however many hours left.
Maybe it's like specifically once they become like the full-fledged fly.
Right, that's what
the
I'm
moment
saying.
that they can with their what is that? What are they doing?
They're just like a piece of shit.
What are they doing? This has nothing to do with today's episode.
Yeah, but seriously, you're a murderer. It's like the flies come in and then you're like, not today, Satan, and you just fucking kill it, and then they're like,
That's like one of those.
they're
I
just
don't
like,
know.
whoa, this is cool. I finally learned to fly like 10 minutes ago. Fucking die.
I don't know. That's definitely that's one of those notions where like if I think about it, I feel shitty. Cause like, well, then you get those like, dude, I'm telling like that.
Every time you see, it's true.
Yeah.
They're like, they're like, oh god, it pisses me
Yeah.
off. They land right next to you on the couch, and then you just like look at them like, you son of a bitch, and they're just like,
Like fucking, like the only thing they're missing is that like skinny curly mustache and like that little top hat. And you just like if you notice like very very closely, there's a smaller insect tied up on tiny railroad tracks.
yeah,
So, yeah, no, we're not a fan of flies here either.
or spiders,
Or spiders.
Anyway,
Anywho, guys, welcome back to the show. Hope you
8
guys,
minutes in.
hope you guys enjoyed last week's episode. But now, moving forward in this spooky month of October, we're going to keep things rolling and start this episode right with something called Junior's Hot Take. And this is part of the episode where we talk about something new and upcoming and get Junior's hot take and hot opinion on it. And Junior, we finally got I think there was like a tiny bit of a teaser before, but now way more of a full-length trailer for The Batman with Robert Pattinson. Patterson. Sorry.
Not Patterson.
It's like a James Patterson. He writes a lot of crime books. Anyways, what do you think about that?
It looked cool, although I forgot who's playing who, other than like obviously Robert Pattinson is playing Batman, and Catwoman is being played by that one female actress that played the Lestrange girl in the new the Harry Potter. Well, the new stuff that's not Harry Potter.
Oh,
what is her name?
The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah.
Grind.
Her Zoe Kravitz.
Oh, Zoe.
I was like,
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
like, as soon as I remember her dad's name, then I'll know. Zoe Kravitz. But I forgot who's playing the villains because I know that there's the Riddler and the Penguin.
Oh, there's gonna be two in this one.
Yeah, in the trailer you see the Penguin. That's that fat dude.
I remember the teaser of like the Riddler, and then like you saw like that part. But
Yeah,
I
you
guess
never actually see the Riddler's face, but you see the Penguin. I'm pretty sure that's the Penguin.
Okay.
But I
But
couldn't
it's not
remember
Danny
who's...
DeVito's Penguin.
No, but I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember who was playing who, because I know that Colin Farrell is a villain.
Oh,
But if he's playing Cobblepot, that he was completely unrecognizable. Because
which could be potentially cool. Like again with movie magic and like makeup and all the prosthetics and stuff that they do to like make new characters. That would be kind of. But it would be kind of weird that that they would have picked Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Do you remember who?
Yes, that was Colin Farrell. Colin
my
Farrell
gosh.
was Oswald Cobblepot.
Do you know who's the butler? Who's Alfred?
Oh, it's Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Gollum.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The guy, I can't remember what the name.
He's also one of the bad guys from the
Black
MCU.
Panther.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. The guy whose arm separates. I can't remember what his name is.
The guy whose arm separates.
In Black Panther,
Oh.
his arm like separates. He has like an ion cannon in his arm.
Well, I mean, he was also in Age of Ultron. But he was first in Age of Ultron and then in Black Panther.
I didn't remember him. I haven't seen that one in forever. But Black Panther was more recent. But I can't remember what his name is. But yeah, yeah, he's the one that's playing Alfred, and Gordon is being played by the he finds out that he's also an android in Westworld.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You
I
know
know
what
who
I'm
you're
talking
talking
about?
about. Yes.
He's also in the Hunger Games
E-
movies.
yes.
Yeah, he's like the super smart guy.
Oh, yeah. When
They
in
like
well,
come when
he's
they
in the
do
second one. He's in the second
when they
one.
bring all the tributes back.
Yeah.
Um,
All the winners.
yeah. Um, so yeah, the trailer looked cool. I don't know how I feel about his body armor being like basically completely bulletproof. Because like right at the end of the trailer, you see like those dudes unloading machine guns. Like I can understand taking one or two shots, but he was taking full magazines, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I know that it's always kind of supposed to be. I know, like in a lot of like newer some iterations of Batman, it's usually kind of like the like hard points that like if you got shot, it would kill you. He usually has like some sort of like metal plates there or stuff to help. But yeah, just being completely bulletproof. Ben Affleck's Batman gets shot in the back of the head in Superman versus Batman. And like obviously he feels it, but again, he's wearing like the cowl's got some protective like headgear underneath to
Yeah.
the point like he doesn't actually take a
Right,
dome
but
shot.
like here's the thing, is like even wearing like helmets, I would be like, if you got shot in the head point blank, which is like what happens,
Yeah, it's getting your bell rung.
Yeah, you're still probably gonna get knocked out or something.
You think? Because to get a concussion and or like get knocked out, I like correct me if I'm wrong, but
It's your brain
it's
rattling.
it's your
back
brain
and forth.
rattling and it like hits like your skull basically. So
I mean,
don't
it
know,
would
I feel like
knock you forward if you got shot in the back of the head.
but like I would feel like maybe it would, like I feel like it would disorientate you if you've got that type of like helmet on and stuff. Like yeah, it's still the Force, but I don't know if it would necessarily rattle your brain.
I mean,
I don't know. He only.
like,
It's not like they shot him. Like I would argue like if it was like a Magnum, like a hand cannon under a shotgun, it'd be fine. But he just got shot with a pistol,
yeah. I mean, have you been shot with a pistol?
not while wearing a Batman cowl headgear. So I wouldn't know.
Yeah, but would you if you were like if
If
they told
had-
you
they're
if
like,
they
dude-
told you the bullet will not penetrate this, other people have done this, would you let somebody shoot you in the back of the head?
If we're talking like that type of technology, I think so.
I wouldn't.
No. Well, I don't. I guess I don't-
Bulletproof vests
Well, so even
exist, but I wouldn't let
yeah.
somebody shoot me in the
even
chest.
even if I knew that I wasn't gonna die, I probably still wouldn't want to get like knocked out though either, or just get any type of brain injury from it. So maybe not.
I mean, here's the thing. A bullet's going to travel really fast, and it's made out of metal. So let's take that away for a second. You already know this is bulletproof. Are you going to let me take like a fucking hammer to the back of the fucking cowl if you're wearing it?
No, that'll hurt like hell. I know it will.
How is that going to hurt? How is that going to hurt more than a fucking bullet, jackass? It's a gun. There's a little explosion that propels the fucking bullet at you at like, I don't know, fucking 1,000 miles an hour or some shit.
Is it that fast? Or
It's
are you
a
just
lot.
guessing? I don't know.
fucking-
I mean, I'm not calling you out that you're wrong. I just don't know.
It's 100. It's like, I don't know. It's got to be like 130 feet per second or some shit like that. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you would be like, no, you can't fucking swing a hammer and hit me in the back of the head. You're gonna let me shoot you in the back of the head with a gun?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
What-
There's no way I can swing a hammer faster than a bullet's coming out of that chamber. That's all I'm saying is like, I feel like it hurt. Do something.
We're also talking about, again, this is the DC universe we're talking about.
Yeah, but Ben Affleck is a man, not a superhuman.
Yes. But still, like, well, you saw how
Or
he
Bruce Wayne's a man.
Yeah, you saw how he reacted in the movie. He was just like, oh, and then just turned around and kicked the dude's ass.
Yeah, but
you're
anyway,
like, again, it hurt him.
Back to Robert Pattinson though. He was just walking down the hallway taking fucking full magazines. And again, why didn't they just aim for his mouth?
Yeah, at that
Aim
point,
for his fucking mouth.
They were hip firing. They didn't have, a laser sight to help them out.
But I mean, yeah, the trailer looks cool. Like, obviously I want to see it.
I didn't like his voice.
Why not? I thought it was fine.
I didn't like it.
I'll be honest, I don't like the way he looks out of the suit.
Yeah, they made him look like it. He looks like an emo Bruce Wayne.
He looks emo. Like, his hair is not like well
I'm just
kept. He
getting.
was, like,
I'm
all
immediately
shaggy.
getting emo Spider-Man vibes. And
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I could do without it.
Yeah, I'm not liking the look. I mean, that's only one.
So, but here's the
part we've
thing:
seen so far,
from
but-
what we've heard though, this is supposed to be like Batman Year One, right?
Right. Yeah.
So the only reason I
It's
could,
like the youngest Batman.
well, not just that. The only reason that I could forgive emo Bruce Wayne is because Batman Year One is literally him, kind of like coming out of the I'm done being depressed and mopey about my parents' death.
Except for his suit looks like Batman. I've been doing this for 15 fucking years.
I mean, this is the same argument that people had with Arkham Origins. They get mad because they were just like, why does Batman Year One look more impressive than later year Batman? So
Yeah, like the Batman in the animated series was wearing a cloth fucking costume because whenever he got fucking
it's
cut,
not cloth. It's always, isn't it always just supposed to be like latex? It's always just thought to be latex. I wouldn't consider it cloth.
But my point is, whenever he gets like scratched or something, you can see his exposed skin underneath the costume. But that Batman in the animated series is not taking any fucking bullets.
Yeah.
That motherfucker gets shot once and he's fucking done. Just like any regular human being. This dude's like, oh, I'm wearing a tank of a fucking costume. I understand that, you know, he's a billionaire, but Year One Batman is not supposed to be like, he's supposed to be figuring shit out.
Yeah.
Except
That's
for the car,
He's figuring out like
except for the car, but it looks like he fucking figured it out on the suit.
Do I have to dodge these bullets or can I just let them all hit me?
Yeah, I don't know. Besides, like, I know we didn't really get a Batman Year One, but like we did in Batman Begins. That was Batman Year One.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right about that. But I mean, we didn't have necessarily emo Batman though.
Right. But well, right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we've already seen kind of like a Year One Batman. Like the Michael Keaton Batmans and all the Batmans that came after him, Val Kilmer and George Clooney, they were already established Batmans. So like we got a brand new Batman in Batman Begins, and now we're getting a brand new Batman again. Same thing with Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was like, I've been doing this for like 20 years, Batman.
Which is usually like where it's kind of like where it's supposed, like you would think like where it normally is at, that like in any cartoon series, it's almost like Batman is probably in his early 40s because he loses his parents as a child. And I would say like Batman Year One is probably somewhere between like 19 and 21.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. I just hope that it's good. I want to see everything. Like, I want to see either a brand new Batcave or he's like not even in a Batcave yet. Like, he's still trying to figure shit out or whatever. I don't know. Like, you watch Gotham, like that Alfred was like badass Alfred, and it looks like Andy Serkis is gonna be badass Alfred too. It doesn't look like he's like, I'm an old man who just serves Master Wayne.
Like I feel like there's always stipulation of the fact that Alfred in his younger years was like something for like the for Great Britain. Like he always kind of like worked in the military, did something like that. Yeah, some iterations of him do have him being as like, oh, I like worked, counterintelligence or whatever, was like a spy before he somehow settled down as like a butler. But well, the other thing is now that it's always like a younger and younger like Alfred too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no. Well, yeah. Michael Caine was the Alfred for...
Do you remember who Alfred was in the Michael Keaton movie? Is it the same one that Val Kilmer used?
And George Clooney?
Yeah, because that Alfred stayed the same.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I can quickly do a googly search.
Great googly moogly. That Alfred was old.
Yeah. Vicky Vale was in that Michael Keaton one. Yeah, it was the same Alfred. Michael Goh. Michael Goh was Alfred for those 4 movies.
Oh, nice.
Because he passes away during the George Clooney Batman.
No, he doesn't. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. He has the same disease that Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife, Mr. Freeze, has, except Mr. Freeze had cured an earlier stage of it. He just couldn't cure Sarah Freeze's wife's. She was like at stage 4 and Alfred was barely at like stage 1. So he's dying.
Yeah, he didn't even die till he was 94. He didn't even die till 10 years ago.
Dude, good for you, Alfred. You kicked ass. You were awesome. But yeah, no, he gets cured. That's literally like Mr. Freeze's like final line. He like hits a button on his suit and they like 2 blue vials pop up and he like hands them over to Batman. He's like, "Take 2 of these and call me in the morning."
Yeah, but it was Michael Caine and Christian Bale.
Yeah,
in that version of Batman.
But that one's also kind of an old one. And then
Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons is Batflix.
Yeah, that's
Alfred.
Yeah. Did you say Batflix? Is that what they
Batflick,
call him?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like the fact that Alfred's not like a young man when Bruce is a kid, so that when you get an older Bruce for like, because even Andy Serkis technically is just like, dude, what are you like in your freaking like 30s or 40s or something like that? Like,
Andy Serkis is definitely like in his 50s.
But I mean, like, he looks young
like
enough.
Elijah Wood is 40 years old.
Oh my gosh. I'm old.
Yeah.
Elijah Wood is 40 years old. Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay. Hobbits, I think, can live like over 100 years, so it's all good.
Mm-hmm. Plus, he doesn't have the ring anymore. Well, there's probably after effects.
Well, he also went to the Elfland, too.
The Undying Lands.
The Undying Lands.
Anyway. Now we've gone off the rails for real.
But all right, cool. So, yeah, so that trailer came out. So, guys, check it out for sure. Moving things right along, we come to a fan favorite segment known as...
Anime is an important part of our culture!
Oh, God, my neck cracked the entire time I did that. I don't know if that was good or bad. But there a new trailer, because I don't think we talked about it, dropped for Attack on Titan Season 4 Part 2.
I told you about it.
You told me about it, but I haven't seen it yet, but it dropped. So for those who are...
talked about it last week.
Yeah, are extremely excited about it, get more excited. I still haven't seen the 7 Deadly Sins movie. I am watching the My Hero movie. Friends at work had an extra ticket, and I'm going to go see it in DeKalb next Friday when it drops.
What the fuck?
What? I wasn't going to turn down a ticket.
I thought we were going.
We haven't made any. Well, we can't. We cannot. Okay, but you can't tell me.
Not making plans.
You can't tell me I'm wrong. We can't plan ahead ever because we always have to know, because we don't know Megan's schedule. So, like, they told me, they were like, "Hey, like, we have this extra ticket."
How did they just get an extra ticket?
Someone else bailed and couldn't go anymore.
Sounds to me like you already knew about this.
I mean, I was the one.
We went to go see the other. We've gone to see the other ones. Well, not the first one.
No, we just went to go see. We saw Mugen Train with some of my work friends.
Yeah.
And then Yumi and Brian saw the first. No, the second movie together in Naperville.
Yeah, but I was literally just looking at the tickets today. Yeah, because I was like, oh, it comes out on the 29th.
Oh, well, I've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, but I was like, oh man, this is coming out really soon. I'm like, oh, where can we go see it? And now it looks like you're going to see it without me.
I just have a ticket. I mean, you could always hold me hostage, and like, I didn't pay for the ticket. It's just it's free.
We didn't pay for the tickets last time either.
We didn't.
I think your friends had bought them, hadn't they?
No, I mean, I bought our tickets when we went to go see Mugen Train. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I don't remember.
Speaking of which, though, the first 2 episodes of season 2 of Demon Slayer are out, and you did tell me to tell you if they were the same or different. Episode 1 runs longer than a normal like anime episode that would only be around like 20 to 22 minutes, and it is completely different. It's Rengoku as he makes his way to Mugen Train. So essentially the first...
So it's before the mission starts.
So it's before the mission starts. Episode 2 is the start of the movie.
So I just have to watch that.
So you can watch it. Yeah, episode 1 was pretty cool. It was all right. I liked it. But then, yeah, it seems like the next probably maybe 5 episodes or 6 episodes are going to be the movie. But the first episode was different. So, It was funny because I was talking to a friend who loved season 1, but they haven't seen the movie, and I was like, "Don't bother, just watch the season."
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are dropping new episodes now. Did the Attack on Titan season 4 part 2 have a release date?
I haven't watched the trailer yet.
Oh, so you told me about it? You didn't even watch the trailer?
No,
I'm surprised
because
you haven't watched the trailer. It's your favorite anime.
The trailer is in Japanese.
And you can't read subtitles? Or like it's
I don't
only
think
Japanese?
I don't think there are subtitles because it's just a trailer.
I won't lie. I've definitely stumbled upon like many like trailers like that where it's just like I can't read anything. I did that with the My Hero. I'm pretty sure the first trailer that ever dropped for the new My Hero movie, I watched in just Japanese and with no subtitles.
Yeah. And it's just like I'm not gonna they're gonna be talking. I'm gonna be like, I don't know what he's saying.
Yeah. Sad news today, guys. The voice actor of Frieza died.
I think he died 2 days ago. On the
He died 2
18th.
days. Yeah. Okay. So not today when this comes out.
Or 3 days
Or when
ago
we're
'cause
technically
this comes out
recording
tomorrow.
Yeah. 3 days ago. But sad news. And he was doing the voice of Frieza for like the entire length, like even in like throughout all the movies and even the new seasons of Super.
Yeah. I don't know if he voiced other characters or not.
Yeah, there's like it's very the voice acting anime community is very like small and niche. Like it's always the same people. But like I don't mind that at all because I love hearing like I think one of my favorite ones because and we talked about this before how like Bleach was like the precursor to us like really diving into all these other animes. Whenever I hear Ichigo's voice in any other like anime, I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Ichigo." So like speaking of like demons, like Tomioka is the same voice actor that voiced Ichigo.
Actually, it's not the same voice actor because Frieza was originally voiced by a woman.
So
this is like the new person who's voicing Frieza.
But when was the switch then?
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now. I think it's this guy named Christopher Aries. Yeah. Yeah, he died on the 18th, 2021.
It doesn't say when he started voice acting for Frieza.
I'm checking right now. I'm checking his IMDb. Well, it looks like he did Frieza since 2009 for the show, but he did Resurrection F. He was Frieza. So yeah, it looks like somewhere in 2009 he voices somebody called Johnny in One Piece. I don't know. I don't know how many Johnnies there are.
I want to say that there's not that I don't really think that there's. I can't even think of a single person named Johnny.
I'd have to quickly look that up too.
I'd have to get like a full name.
Johnny One Piece.
Just an immediate.
Looks
picture.
like a swordsman.
Okay, yeah. Those are it's two brothers that they're just literally at the beginning of the show for a little while.
Okay, well, yeah, he voiced Johnny, one of the brothers.
Hooray! Yeah, one of them gets scurvy, and they like pick them up, and they end up knowing Zoro, and then like Nami just pours like a bunch of like or squeezes a bunch of like limes into him to like make him feel better.
Nice.
It's just funny that they like because scurvy was obviously a big issue like during a lot of like sea travel and stuff, but that is literally the only time they mention scurvy and then never again.
You scurvy knave.
You scurvy dog. It was very sad. Last week I didn't get a new episode of One Piece, which is bogus as hell. Are you caught up yet on Tokyo Revengers, or how many episodes do you have?
No, it's not over yet. I think I just watched episode 21.
Okay,
so if there's
3 more episodes left. 3 more episodes left.
3? There's 24.
I did look.
I can tell you what happened, but I'll tell you off camera what happened at the end of the episode that I just watched.
I know last week we were talking about that anime that's episodic on Netflix that just recently came out. That's called like Blue Point.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So I was just like, I kind of want to check it out. And then I was reading like, what was it about? It's an anime about art. So I was just like,
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, you did know? I was like,
yeah, I read the synopsis, but
Oh.
I was just like, oh, there's only one episode. I clicked on it, and then I'm like, oh, this is all in Japanese. Well, never mind.
No. No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't like. I just started to read, and it was just like was going to school, and then got interested in like art, and I was like, like I like
It's slice of
bleed
life.
black and orange for Karasuno in Haikyuu, and I love that. But that's like I only watch one sports anime. I've seen a couple slice of life ones, but I don't really think I meant to. I'll do this for next week's episode. I wanted to kind of go through because there are so many times that like I hear people talking about the different genres of animes, but the ones I really only know was like shonen and then like slice of life. But like I always hear the term like an isekai, and I don't know what that means. So like I do. I mean, if someone wants to tell me in the comments or just DM me or anything, and let me know like all the different genres and subgenres. But I kind of want to go into it next week. But I do want to do a little bit of research instead of just trying to pull everything up on my phone right now. Anything that you want to add, Junior?
No. So segment over.
Cool.
I've been watching a lot of television.
I've been doing a lot of stuff too. I also watched a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I just watched, like I said, like the 21st episode of Tokyo Revengers. I think that's pretty much the only anime. But well, we're gonna get into our main topic here in a minute. But one of the so we ended up getting a 1 week trial of Stars because some of the movies that we wanted to watch for what we're gonna talk about this week was on Stars. So there's a show on there called American Gods. And I thought that it was like a little bit older and that it might have been over already, but I was wrong. But I binged all 3 seasons in less than a week because the week's still not over yet for our 1 week trial. And the show's sweet. It's about basically like a war between the old gods and the new gods. And the old gods are basically like deities that, for the most part, like have been worshipped at one point or another, like Odin, Jesus, Hindu gods, Japanese gods, stuff like Norse gods, all this shit. And the new gods are like technology, which is like what everybody like worships now because you're always got your phone with you and all this shit. So if you have Stars and you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. It's a pretty cool show. But yeah, I binge watched. The first 2 seasons had like 8 episodes each, and the third one had 10. But the third season like literally just came out 2021, so it's not over yet. Just gonna have to wait for the next season whenever those come out. I watched 1 season, and the second season literally just started. I just watched the first episode of it, of this other show on Stars called High Town, which is like a crime show about like drug dealers and shit in like Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and like the state police. It's pretty good, pretty cool so far. Let's see. Other than that, been watching horror movies and stuff like that, and that's pretty much it. I haven't really like. I've just been like.
We
obsessed
watched
with that.
season 3 of You.
Oh shit! Yeah, we like watched the entire season 3 of You,
And it did not disappoint. Like on my part, it did not.
I wasn't disappointed. Like I said, we're obviously not gonna like, give anything away, but I was wondering, just based on the trailer, I was like, it just looks like it's murder left and right this season.
Mm-hmm. There
There was a bit, but there wasn't as much as I thought there was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. It was a good season. I'd be okay with it ending here. Because like I said, there's only the 3 books, which the third one had just come out this year, 2021.
I thought I had seen something about a season 4 being confirmed, but I do agree with, like, I think the ending would be fine. Like, I think I'd be okay with where it was at.
Yeah. I like I said, I don't want to give stuff away because like the ending to this season, I got major vibes from another show. So I was like, I'd be okay with it.
Is
with
it Dexter?
Yeah, I didn't want to say just in case people have seen Dexter because that might be like, oh, you just ruined the season finale for me.
No. Well, but also you could, did you Did the new season start up yet of Dexter yet? No?
I don't know. It might have, but I know it was starting soon.
Okay.
But I haven't started
There's
watching
been
it
some
yet.
hype for that.
I think that's on. Well, it was on Showtime. I don't know if it's going back to Showtime. It probably is. They probably still own the rights to it. So the new seasons would probably also be on Showtime. So if it was, I don't know because we don't have Showtime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those are pretty much the only two shows. And then yeah, we watched the entire third season of You. We talked about. I think we finished C.
Yes, we finished C.
We finished C season 2. It was fucking dope. The show's amazing.
I again without like shout out to my buddy Jonah again for like getting into it and watching it because he like earlier like I think on Sunday when I went to work he was just like, did you see the season finale of C? And I was like, yes, I saw it. And I was telling him how you were literally like seconds before the like final scene happens, you were just like, God, like, please tell me, like, none of this bullshit. And then, like, it happens, and you're just like, God fucking damn it.
Yeah.
And so I was telling him about it. He was laughing about it. But, yeah, such a good show.
Yeah, that show is really good. There's one episode left of Truth Be Told, which is that other show that I talked about last week with Kate Hudson and Octavia Spencer about the podcaster. So the season finale comes out, I believe, on Friday. Mm-hmm. I'm like halfway through the season of the morning show, which is the news show with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon and
that joke I saw on TikTok. It just made me think because like you were the one who originally told me it, where it was just like, oh, did you hear that actress got murdered? Reese, and then like a dad was like Witherspoon, and she was like, no, with a knife. So like if you guys want to. Just nail somebody with a joke. Hit them with that one.
Yeah. So that show's like halfway through the season. There's that Eugenio Derbez show that just started on Apple TV Plus. I think there's like 3 episodes, but I haven't started it yet. I don't know if I'm going to or not.
Wasn't it like it's about like a hotel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like about a hotel in Acapulco, Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
That he worked at as like a teenager. So it's like the big actor is probably the narrator, and it probably starts with him at the beginning of each episode. But then once he starts the story, it's like someone else. Yeah, it's like a young actor.
Well, obviously. But he might place himself into the story as just like a different character, though.
Maybe, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, I think that's pretty much like those are like the shows that I'm like waiting for, like the new episodes to be coming out. Well, we just watched we watched the first episode last week. We just watched the second episode of the Chucky series, which we talked about that we were going to talk about. So let's just talk about it for a little bit here.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
I don't hate that they're kind of making Chucky like a character, as in more so the fact of just like, oh, like he shows up to do like the kills, and then more often than not, you're seeing everybody else. Like you're getting dialogue between like him and the main character that seems a little more of a conversation instead of him giving you like this, I'm going to murder you monologue. So like, I don't mind that, especially because it's a TV show and not a movie. I do kind of like that. But I don't know. I'm definitely curious to see, because of just some of the stuff that you see in like the trailer of the show versus like watching the first couple of episodes, especially with the ending of this last episode. I am curious to see where like things kind of like turn around or what else is found out, on top of the fact that it is 100% following the events of like Cult of Chucky.
Yeah, so they like basically erased the remake.
Yeah.
They just went back to the old
I wouldn't
stuff.
necessarily say they erased it, because technically the remake was also erasing everything that's ever been done with it.
Because it was like a completely brand new
We'll get into that in a second, though.
Yeah.
But what about you? What do you think about the show?
I'm liking it so far, but like you said, like usually when you see Chucky interacting with another character in the movie, it's either he's killing them or there's a very small conversation. Like, because like in the older ones, when he's talking to the kid, most of the time it's the kid talking to the doll and the doll's not responding at all. Mm-hmm. He's just like, come on, Chucky, or whatever. Or he'll be like, Chucky told me. And like, the kid is the one that's speaking, saying that the doll told him to do this, or the doll's the one that did it, or whatever. And like this, we're just seeing straight up conversations between Chucky and the character. Also, this is a teenage character, not a child, like in the originals. So it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, so far I'm still getting the campy vibe, because it's not like a scary. It's like, you know, we're not like I'm not gonna say who dies or anything, but like in the first episode, we see a death. There's nothing like scary about it. You see it coming, and then it just happens.
Okay, wait. Let me. What is your definition of campy in this? In like. In this sense of like of how you're using it,
Because it's almost slightly comical. There's like not anything.
So okay, so are you saying campy is comical, or is campy like, sometimes I feel like when people are just like, oh, this horror movie was kind of campy, like I feel like it's almost synonymous with like bad and not really scary, but campy isn't necessarily always the same thing as like comedy.
Well, the thing is that like this isn't Scary Movie. It's not a parody.
Yeah.
These people are like, I mean, in the Scary Movies, people also actually die, but like that's always funny, and like this
Death
is not
always funny, Junior.
like this isn't supposed to be funny. So it's like the first person dies in the first one. The person that dies in this one, you like see it coming a mile away. And then in the episode that we just watched, when the knife was like coming through the bed, it was like almost kind of funny. It was like they just kept moving out of the way without knowing that
like
he was under the bed. And it's like we just straight up see him under the bed. It's not like like you could have just seen the knife come up and then you'd have been like, oh shit, like that could have been like a jump scare or something.
Yeah.
And they're just like completely, so far anyway, 2 episodes into it, like disregarding that.
But I do feel there were like a couple creepy moments though. Like there was that the maid is like cleaning up, and she had just kind of like come down the stairs, and so she rounds the stairs, and it like in the corner of like the screen you see Chucky like turn around and run up the stairs.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there was the tension in the first episode with looking under the bed and the closet and stuff for sure.
So I definitely feel like it's set up for some scary / like jump scare moments. Like I definitely still like kind of see that coming. One other thing.
I mean, there's usually more jump scares once you find out that like he's after you.
We also last week we didn't talk about I Know What You Did Last Summer show, did we?
No, well, we hadn't watched it.
Yeah,
it hadn't come out yet. But I was gonna say that too. We've watched the first 4 episodes of that.
Which did you end up checking if it was just like they gave us 4 episodes like day 1, and now we have to wait week by week?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah. They gave us the first 4, and then I think they're coming out
Fridays.
Or is it Fridays?
Yeah,
I don't remember if we
Fridays
looked.
when the new episode comes out. But I thoroughly enjoyed the show.
Yeah, that show is really good, and it's on Amazon. So if you have Amazon Prime or whatever, you can watch it, or at least so far the first 4 episodes. But yeah, I'm also enjoying it. I thought that one was really cool,
especially because both literally what was it? Yeah. Well, both of my predictions, like after 4 episodes, I was like, I'm fucking wrong. The one that you made could potentially still be true, and I feel like it could be cool if your prediction is right. And if it's not right, then I'm extremely intrigued to figure out like what is going on.
Yeah. So yeah, if you haven't watched that show, watch it. It's good. Even if you're like not into horror, it's not again, not super like, oh, jump scare shit, but it's like still it's cool. It's got a good story so far. So definitely check that out. But what have you been up to?
I think besides like a lot, all the stuff, because we did spend like a whole day watching movies in preparation for this week's episode. So there was that. There was like a whole day of watching just you. So there was another one of my days. Like I said, I've been gaming a lot. I haven't talked too much about like playing Demon Souls though, which I've been enjoying just thoroughly with, just kind of building I don't know how you'll do it, because Dark Souls 3 was the only game that you've ever replayed for.
I had to play it 2.5 times to get to platinum.
Yeah, and any other game that you play is always just like, I'm gonna try to get it on like one run through. I mean, you didn't try to.
I mean, if
platinum
I
Dark
can,
Souls or
I like
Dark Souls
look at
2.
it. But
Yeah.
that was before platinum was even like a thing on my plate.
On your radar. Yeah.
Yeah, like once I got my first one, I was like, okay, I popped my cherry, and now I need to go after these other ones if I can.
Yeah. So I don't know how you'll do it, but like I have 3 separate characters, and one is just like your normal little strength build, one is a mage build, and then one is a faith build, and they're for specific purposes, like for different trophies and stuff like that. But I'm only missing 3 trophies. It's getting all the spells, all the miracles, and then acquiring all the rings. So this I
So
don't
then
know.
you've beaten the game already?
It's not a long game. Not at all per se. And again, if you know what you're doing, like if you have like certain like memories of the game.
Well, I only ever got like through the 4th or 5th boss before you gave it back, so I've never even beaten it.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily long. And then besides because there's like 5, basically kind of like 5 worlds.
Yeah, but doesn't each world go like 2 or 3 like bosses in?
So besides the main one, the one that you go to first, and you have to defeat the first boss is the phalanx. Besides that one, the other 4 have 2 levels and then a boss at the end of them, and then they all have greater demons. So there's 3 bosses per those 4 worlds. The greater demon does not have like a level before it, and each boss is kind of like there's always like a trick to it. So like I know one of them is like the greater demon is like a blind monk, and if there are like online players trying to just either invade or just get summoned to help somebody in the world, the Demon Soul server will grab you and you play as that boss fight. So like for people that are just trying to beat the boss, it usually says like if you want an easier fight to just play offline, because then you just get the monk battle, and that's a lot easier than going up against other players. And
so like you'll play as the blind monk?
Yeah. And like you play as like it's like it'll literally just it's your character, and then you get the monk head wrap, which reappeared in Dark Souls 1 and 2, I'm pretty sure. And so you'll just fight as like your character. It's not like they give you necessarily any new mechanics or whatever, but every now and then you'll get like homing missiles, like magic homing missiles that spawn around you, and then those kind of help you out in the fight too. So like, but that's like one of the like more or less like trick bosses. There is Maiden Estrella, who is literally just like it's just like a priestess in this like swamp of like toxic water, and she just sits back there. She doesn't attack you. If you get too close, eventually she'll like do a miracle that just emits force that kind of like pushes you away, does like minimal damage. The trickier fight, and what you could potentially say would be the boss fight, is she has a knight, Velstad, who's protecting her. So and like the path to get to her, he literally stands in the way of it. So you have to defeat him to be able to get back to her to attack. And then
the big dragon.
Oh yeah, the Dragon God, which is a lot of people say would have been so much cooler as an actual boss fight, but no, that's again just a trick boss. And then the last one is the Storm King. That boss fight is fun. The trick behind it is pretty cool. However, you've seen it before with the Giant King in Dark Souls 3. If you remember that one. You like go in and it's a giant and he's got like a flaming like sword.
He's like only weak to like fire.
No. You don't remember the trick to him in Dark Souls 3? You have to run into the back and you pick up a sword.
Oh yeah. And then the sword charges up, and then you like it takes like 4 hits to kill him.
Yeah,
he also can like one shot you.
Yeah, it unleashes like a giant wind blast. Yeah, that's basically like a hat tip to the Storm King fight, because you essentially do the same thing. But yeah, And then the first Archstone though, that has 4 levels and 4 bosses. However, you can only do the first 2 levels, and you can't do the last 2 levels till you beat at least one of the greater demons. But
gotcha. Well, yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I'm actually gonna have to like play the entire things. I've never beaten the.
Dude,
entire
I will
thing.
help you buy a PS5 if you just get one this weekend, so we can play together.
Well,
finally.
we'll see. But I'm not gonna lie. Well, just because I've been watching the American Gods and stuff, and like I'm not gonna give shit away if you haven't seen it or whatever. But like, it's made me want to replay the new God of War.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just because like I felt like I was like so excited about it, but I was just like I want to get through it and beat it, and then I beat it, but like I never did any of the side questing stuff really. I never got into like fighting the Valkyries. I think I fought one, didn't beat it, got my ass kicked like 3 times, and I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. So like I never went through. So I've been like thinking about replaying it, but I've also been like maybe I'll just reboot it and start doing all the side quests. But I mean, like, I don't know. Part of me's like, you have to beat that game like on the hardest difficulty for the platinum. So like, if I just replayed it, it would just be to replay it. It wouldn't be to go for the platinum unless I played it on the hardest difficulty.
I don't think it's the hardest. It's just hard mode. I don't like. I feel like you unlock a new difficulty.
But you have to beat the Valkyrie Queen on hard mode.
Well, Troy and my buddy Jeff both did it, and it literally just becomes. Well, here's the thing. I don't know how well you would do on the Valkyries because
you have to guard. And
it's,
I don't know
it's
how
not.
to do that.
It's not just so much guarding it, but it's learning their patterns and getting like past it. And I feel like if you can't get into a groove where you can just balls to the walls annihilate a boss, you get like annoyed and you're like, I don't want to learn these patterns. That ended up being like the issue why we couldn't beat Cuphead together because you kept falling for like the same tricks over and over and over again. And I'm like, Junior, like. This like fucking it does the same thing every time. These are easy to dodge.
Yeah. I'm definitely like a bum rush. That's why like I like to get OP and then be like
yeah.
You've seen all those memes.
Well, yeah, you're good at like training and grinding, which is fine for a lot of games, but sometimes you need skill.
All those memes where it's like level 1 boss me who did all the side quests before coming here.
Yeah.
But anyway. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this week. So, Tito and I watched 6 movies. We watched 3 OGs and 3 remakes of the same movies, obviously. So, we'll start with the oldest ones because what we wanted to was like compare and contrast, see how much of they stuck closely to the story, what changed, what stayed the same, shit like that. So the first one is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which came out in 1974. And the new one came out in 2003. So let's talk about it. In the original, there is a brother and sister, another male, and 2 other females.
Yeah, so it's no. Wait. Did you get that? Yeah, it's
or is it 2?
It's like it's
2 guys.
It's a brother and sister. The brother's in a wheelchair, and then the boyfriend of the sister is the one driving, and then it's another couple in the back.
Right. Yeah.
So it's 3 guys and 2 girls.
Yes.
And they pick up a hitchhiker, who, like, was it? He's got like a weird scar, like I think on his face.
It's like a birthmark.
Yeah,
it's like a birthmark on his face.
Birthmark on his face, and then what is it?
He's got like a little pouch which's got like weird shit in it. And he also has a pocket knife. He cuts himself,
and then he ends up cutting
the brother in the wheelchair.
Yeah, he ends up cutting him,
and they kick him out of the van.
But then he like marks the van with his blood.
And then he keeps walking.
Yeah.
And then
they're visiting an old family house.
Yes.
Right? And then it's the
or no, they're not, because they're trying to just get through. They don't actually say where they're going because they try to stop and get gas, and the person at the gas station tells them that they don't have gas and they have to wait for the truck driver to bring the fuel. And then they're like, we own a barbecue shack. Why don't you just stay here and have some barbecue? And then that's when the brother in the wheelchair says, our dad owns a old house. We can just hang out there until, so that they go there.
They go there, and then the couple breaks off. Not the brother, or not the sister and her boyfriend, but the other couple. They break off to go do others. To like, I think
they're gonna go to like a lake or something.
Yeah. Then they find like a generator. They find a bunch of like cars, and then they investigate like
an old house.
Yeah, and it's the guy first.
Yeah,
he walks into a room that's got a bunch of like heads and stuff on
it's
the wall.
Like animal skins and animal
heads.
I
think he like trips, like he's looking and then he trips into it, and when he looks up, you get good old fashioned Leatherface just conks him on the head and then just drags him away.
Yeah, and slams the door.
Yeah. Then he gets the girl, and then I think he puts her up on like a hook though.
Yes.
And he's just doing like butchering in like the kitchen. And there's no like blood splatter either because he puts her on the hook and then he turns on the chainsaw and is supposedly going to town on her boyfriend.
Yeah.
But you don't see like any type of
there's
blood
like
splatter.
no blood really whatsoever. You don't see any of that.
And then you get, eventually, they're just like, hey, it's getting late. These people haven't come back. So then it's the sister's boyfriend who goes and investigates. And essentially same thing happens to him. Just mallet to the head, gets, taken away.
He gets into the house, finds the girl who's still alive but now in the freezer. Mm-hmm. Then Leatherface hits him, throws her back in the freezer, closes it back up, and then it's just the brother and sister
who wait until nighttime to finally go and look. And then when they're like getting, I think, more or less close to the house, Leatherface just like comes out, just chainsaws the shit out of the brother.
Yeah. And the girl runs.
She runs all the way, like she gets chased by Leatherface and then ends up at the barbecue place.
Yes.
And then you can see it in like when he's like first trying to help her, you start to notice that like the like his like oven or whatever has got a bunch of like human parts in it.
Like the barbecue pit's got like a bunch of like giant
But
like
he ends up like capturing her, and then he takes her back to the house where Leatherface is at, and then you find out that the hitchhiker they picked up originally, Leatherface and this dude are all related.
Yeah. I think it's like the hitchhiker and Leatherface are like brothers. Mm-hmm. The guy that runs the barbecue pit's like their uncle.
It's either their uncle or their dad. I can't remember if they really like mention what happens.
No, I think he's the uncle.
Though I think the creepiest part, the fact is that earlier in the movie, someone was looking around the house, and then you find what you think is like two dead bodies in rocking chairs upstairs.
It's the boyfriend,
but the grandpa's alive, and they bring him downstairs in the rocking chair, and they cut like the last girl's finger, and they put it in the grandpa's mouth, and he starts like sucking on it. I was like, dude, this dude's alive.
Yeah, he looks like he's dead.
Yeah, it's creepy as hell. And then eventually they're trying to get the grandpa to hit her in the head.
Yeah, so he can be the one to get the kill.
Because he was the best at killing cows in like slaughterhouses. And then she like somehow escapes, just does the thing that we wish people would do if you're stuck in a horror like house like that. She just dives through a window. And it's actually the second window I think that she dives through.
Yeah.
But she runs out. I think like a semi stops to like try and help her, and then Leatherface catches up. It turns into
daylight. By this point, it's like daylight now.
Well, yeah, because she got, I think, like knocked out or something. But Leatherface like tries to get him. Then like the semi-truck driver and her are running away. The semi-truck driver domes Leatherface with a wrench and keeps running. And then I think
Leatherface falls when he gets domed, and the chainsaw cuts his leg a little bit.
And then she jumps into the back of a pickup truck and then gets away. And then that's when you get the famous scene of Leatherface just kind of spinning the chainsaw around and like dancing.
Yeah. So that was that one.
The original. Remake, very, very different.
Yeah. There's like very few similarities and huge differences. Yeah.
No siblings in that one.
No.
Nobody in the car is related. But again, it's a couple, And like the big name draw was Jessica Biel. When this first came
The
out.
other thing was that technically the second girl that's with them is the hitchhiker.
Yeah.
She says that she just got picked up.
No, I wouldn't say is the hitchhiker because they do pick up another hitchhiker.
Right, but they
said that
say that they had literally just met like that day, and they were
because
already
she
like,
was also
making
going
out.
to the concert where they were going to be going.
They were going to a Leonard Skinner
she's
concert.
making out with the dude in the back, and it's just like, could you imagine? Or like,
The one thing is they both take place at the same time. They both take place in the 1970s.
Yeah.
So even though this is the remake, it's not like it's 2003.
Yeah.
It's still 1974.
Yeah. So, but in this one though, they pick up a girl hitchhiker who seems like she's been through hell. Mm-hmm. She's like walking. They're trying to talk to her, and then when she notices a road sign of where they're coming up on, she freaks out, pulls a gun out of her dress, and then puts it in her mouth and shoots.
Does
herself.
not pull the gun out of her dress.
Well, I mean, it comes out from underneath.
She definitely had it hidden in her prison wallet.
Yeah. There's. Yeah. I doubt there was a holster on her.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, shoots herself in the mouth. Yeah, they freak out. They stop at like a
convenience store. It's like a
convenience
gas
store
station.
that also kind of has like barbecue and stuff like that. But they
Yeah.
stop there. So it's funny. In the original, you see the brother eating the barbecue, and then in the remake, like you see some of the guys looking at like the food she has to offer, and there's just flies all over it. So nobody buys like anything from that convenience store. But basically, they stop there to try to be able to call like the sheriff or the cop or something to come and collect the dead body of the girl that just like shot herself.
Yeah, in their car.
Yeah.
And then the lady's like, "Oh, the sheriff's gonna be a minute. He wants you to meet him over at
Like a old windmill.
yeah. No, it's like the. Well, they also on the way there they also pass like the slaughterhouse meat
Yeah.
factory, but the lady at the counter tells them to meet them at some old abandoned warehouse thing. So they go there and they wait for the sheriff.
I swear it was like an old windmill. Like they said it was like an old windmill.
I don't know. I didn't see any windmills.
But they meet a little kid over there.
Yeah.
And then like when they ask him if he knows the sheriff, he was just like, sheriff's probably getting drunk or whatever. And then like he tells them like that he can tell them where the sheriff lives. And so he takes them to like a bigger house that I don't think would have been like for a walk. I think it's probably only like 20-30 minutes from where like they had originally parked their car. They knock on the door and a guy answers in a wheelchair. So like you could kind of infer that they took, the brother that was in a wheelchair. Now they've got this like dude in a wheelchair, except he's more of like old man, and it probably like seems like he was probably like a war vet or something because he's missing both of his legs.
Yeah.
He answers the door, and essentially he lets, because it's Jessica Biel and her boyfriend that go to the house instead of just the random couple that went in the original. So she goes in there to use the phone to call the sheriff, and then when she calls, I think it's just like, oh, the sheriff will be there in like 30 minutes. And while she was doing that, eventually the dude in the wheelchair like went to the bathroom and then needed help getting back into his chair. And so she's trying to help him do that. And the boyfriend finally like enters the house, I think looking for her. And Leatherface pops out, like knocks his ass in the head with the sledgehammer, and drags him away, and then slams the door shut.
Just like the same scene in the original. And you see Leatherface like walk right behind Jessica Biel, but she doesn't see him.
Yeah.
She ends up helping the dude back in the wheelchair. She walks out. She's like, I can't find my boyfriend. This dick must have left me.
Yeah, and
She
the guy's
goes
like, well,
back.
he sure as hell ain't in my house. And so like she goes back, and there's just like, oh, the sheriff said he would be here soon or whatever. But then like they find out that like
the sheriff shows up while Jessica Biel and the boyfriend are at the house. He comes.
Oh yeah, and takes the body.
He takes the body. They load it into the sheriff's car. He drives away. Jessica Biel shows back up. She's like, "Where's this dude?" They're like, "We don't know." And then she's like, "I thought he was here with you guys. He's not." So then
They start getting
decide,
creeped out and want to leave.
Yeah,
but
and
then
she's like, I'm not gonna leave without him.
one of the dude that was not dating, or like at the very least with the girl in the back, he's like, no, that's my friend. I'm not gonna leave him. So he goes back with Jessica Biel to the house. Then while they're there, I think she's distracting the guy that originally had answered the door.
Yeah, the old guy.
Yeah, while the friend is like, basically breaks into the house and is looking around. I think he ends up running into some farm animals and makes a bunch of noise. And then the guy like goes back in. He's like, what are you guys doing in my house? Like, what the hell? And he's just like, look, we're sorry. We're just looking for our friend. Like, we know he's here somewhere. Just help us find him and we'll get out of your hair.
Leatherface comes out.
Well, yeah, but then like the dude in the wheels is just like, you're already dead and you don't even know it. And like he starts like smacking his cane on the ground, which you would feel like is like him calling Leatherface. And Leatherface like slams the door open. And like,
immediately starts his chainsaw and comes after them.
Yeah, comes after them. Jessica Biel gets away, and then the dude is like, and we were watching it. I was like, how the hell did this happen? Because they're running through kind of one of those like old timey, like, oh, I'm gonna hang up all my sheets, for them to dry. So he's running through all these, like, also he was running through nothing but like white sheets. So this
like
family,
white clothes hangers.
Yeah. But he's running through all of them. Leatherface is behind him. And then somehow ended up not just like, oh, hey, I'm in front of you now, but like was in front of him on the side and swings the chainsaw low and like cuts off one of his legs.
Yeah.
So it was just like, how the hell did that happen? Like, number one, if you would have just caught up to him, why didn't you just hit him in the back with the chainsaw or whatever? So
yeah, but he takes him in with his leg missing, hangs him up on a hook.
Yeah.
And the boyfriend is there.
Yeah, it's like already dead and stuff.
Yeah.
So then like Jessica Biel runs back, like terrified, tells her friends kind of what's going on. The sheriff shows back up and basically starts terrorizing them. Convinces the like last male friend that they have there to kind of recreate the crime scene for him. And he makes him stick a gun in his mouth. And then he freaks out and points the gun at the sheriff, like tries to fire it. And it was empty the whole time. So now the sheriff arrested this kid.
But takes him back to the house.
Yeah,
and
he
then
takes
you
him to the
realize
house.
that he's part of the family. He's in on all the shit.
And I think while the girls stayed there, Leatherface shows back up. This time he's wearing the skin of Jessica Biel's boyfriend as his new like mask.
Yeah.
So he
kills the other girl. Right away.
Yeah.
Jessica Biel gets away, and like that's the part where she makes it out to the road, doesn't she? No, she runs to the trailer. She runs to the trailer, and it turns out that the two people inside the trailer are also part of the family.
I don't know if they're just part of the family, but it's more so like they have like some tight-knit community where it's just like, oh no, he's a good boy. Like he won't try to hurt any of us.
Yeah, they give her some tea in it. She goes unconscious, and when she wakes up,
I thought the sheriff shows up and like knocks her out or something.
No. They give her tea. She remember she asked for a phone, and they go, we don't have a phone. And then they get a phone call.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm getting out of here. And then she like falls over.
Yeah.
And when she wakes up, she's at the house.
Yeah. And then you find out that obviously the dude in the wheelchair, the sheriff, Leatherface, and then the woman that's running the convenience store are all like, those are all her kids. And like, she's the mother. Mm-hmm. And, you also get to see a picture of Leatherface with his or a scene with Leatherface with his mask off, which you don't get to see in the original.
Right.
And then,
the kid's like a grandson, though. I think because the kid is also part of the family.
Yeah, but he like wants
at the beginning.
But he wants to like help.
Yeah.
And like they don't like tie her up or anything. Leatherface just throws her down into like the basement where he does like all his butchering.
She kills her friend that is missing his leg.
Yeah, because he can't like stand being on the hook anymore. So like,
and he's losing a lot of blood and his leg's missing. And he's like, I'm not gonna get out of here.
Then she finds the other dude who has the hole in his back, like he was on a chain or on a hook too, but he's just in a bathtub. They with the help of the little kid, they escape the basement. And then they end up in some
he's like in handcuff chains.
Yeah. They end up in some like they escape through there and then they end up hiding in some like broken down house. Leatherface follows them in there. Then eventually, like I think Jessica Biel like accidentally gives away her location. The other friend pops out to try to help. Leatherface hangs him up on like a chandelier thing with like the chain,
Like using the chain of the handcuffs.
and then he just cuts him up from the middle, and then Jessica Biel ends up in the slaughterhouse, and then you get that like famous scene because like, I remember in the old trailer for that you would see her hiding in a locker.
Yes.
But yeah, she ends up with a butcher knife, chops off his right arm.
That's holding the chainsaw.
Yeah. And then I think during that chase scene too, he like trips over a fence, and then you get the like I cut my leg with the chainsaw.
He cuts his leg a little bit.
Homage to the original. But she does that.
Yeah, she chops off his arm.
Runs back, I think, to she gets she flags down the semi truck driver, and then he pulls in to like she sees the sign,
like the barbecue,
and you kind of see like flashbacks.
Oh yeah,
of,
she
like,
starts freaking out, just like the
flashbacks
girl.
of,
She's like, "Don't go there, don't
yeah.
go there." And
So
then,
he stops at the convenience store barbecue place, but Jessica Biel gets out while the semi truck driver goes and tries to talk to everybody. She saves a child, which was clearly stolen from a family that they killed, and then steals the sheriff's car, runs him over and kills him. I think she runs him over 3 times for good measure. And then as she's exiting the town, you get one last flat, like Leatherface like slashes at the car with the chainsaw.
Yeah, that part scared me because I had no idea that it was coming. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, but so yeah, we did get a lot of we got like tiny similarities, but then they did change like a lot of things.
Yeah, there was way more like the newer one was scarier than the original.
Yes,
there was way more jump scares and stuff. It was way bloodier. But yeah, like. There was still the final girl, like that final girl energy, like we talked about last year. It was still a female that survives, and they did do like the stuff with the semi truck. There was all these similarities, but yeah, Jessica Biel like definitely endured worse than the other girl. Mm-hmm. Like she ended up having to kill her friend, and she like faces off with Leatherface.
Yeah,
cuts off his arm. So I think that the new one is better than the original.
Yes, I also agree. I also feel like and I'm not going to say that they don't have good music, but I definitely feel like even just horror music and sounds have come a long way from like older movies too, to like really intensify the like fear that they want you to be feeling like while you're watching the movie.
All right. So the next one is The Evil Dead. Also has 5 people, but this time it is 2 guys and 3 girls. And it's also a brother sister. In the original, there's the Ash, who's actually named Ashley, played by Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, who made, well, I don't know, not the second one, but made an awesome sequel with Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
And then even it, like eventually is now like a series, like Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yeah. So there's Ash, his sister, then Ash's girlfriend, then the other couple, the other guy and the his girlfriend. But like they come out into the woods and they're going to stay in this cabin, and it's like in Tennessee. And it's like they're just staying there for the weekend just to come out and hang out or whatever. But right away, you see like through the camera's point of view that there's like a spirit or something that's like through the woods that's like tracking them. They make it into the house. They find out that there's like a basement. So the door just like flies open. They see that there's a basement. The one friend, the other guy goes down there, doesn't come back, he's like fucking with them, is like not answering when they're like calling out for him. Mm-hmm. His name's like Scott. And then Ash goes down there. Ash gets scared by Scott. They find a shotgun. They also find this huge, giant, fucking sacrifice-looking dagger. And then the
Necronomicon.
The Necronomicon.
But
it's like the Book of the Dead.
It's like wrapped in like...
It's like human leather. It's like human flesh.
Is it the first one or the second one the original or the remake where it's wrapped in like a trash bag and then barbed wire?
No, that's the remake.
Okay, that's the barbed wire. Yeah. So this one they just find the Necronomicon just straight up, and the Necronomicon has like almost like a face on it.
Yes. and then they come upstairs and shit starts to like go bad right away. Well, like the friend, is it the sister? The sister's the one that like her hand gets like possessed and she starts drawing and she ends up drawing like the Necronomicon before they even like find it.
Yeah.
And then she starts to freak out, says she wants to leave. She like runs out. And
No, she doesn't leave into the woods right away. First, they play the recording of the professor that reads the incantation inside of the book. Because that's what releases the spirit.
The professor's like talking about how he's gone like all over the world and like found all these like dark things and shit like that, and he brought him back to his cabin to like do the research on them there or whatever. So yeah, they play the recording. Then the sister leaves. I mean, there's no real next week. She gets like brutally like sexually assaulted in the woods by the woods.
Yeah.
It's like tree branches that like vines that like string her up, and then she gets like violated by like a branch. She gets away, comes back to the house, says she wants to leave. She's like freaking out. And then Ash is her brother. He's like, all right, I'll take you. Well, at the beginning of the movie, when they're crossing the bridge, it's like an old rickety bridge, and they almost like fucking fall into the river. Now they come to the Ash and the sister get in the car. They start driving. They get to where the bridge is, and the bridge is fucking gone. So they have
it's like broken up to kind of almost look like it's a hand keeping them there.
Yeah. So then they have to come back, and then the sister fucking like her face turns to like demon form. Is that the part where she starts like floating?
A little bit, kind of, because then she stabs Linda in the foot.
Yeah,
with like a pencil, which is Ash's girlfriend.
Ash's girlfriend. She stabs her in the ankle with a pencil,
and it's like super gross too.
Yeah,
like how far? Like number one, she sticks the pencil in.
Looks like all rubbery and shit. And then they throw the sister into the cellar. They slam it closed and they run the chain through it and lock it up so she can't get out.
Yeah. And
then the next one to get taken over is
Scott's girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I don't remember how she gets possessed.
She walks away into one of the rooms.
Oh, yeah.
To go to sleep, and the window gets blown open.
Yeah.
And you just see like, again, it's like all POV from the camera that's like coming towards the character.
Yeah. But she gets super possessed, and Scott hacks her up with like an axe after getting like him and Ashley take some damage.
First they stab her.
Yeah, with the
he
ceremonial
stabs her with like
dagger.
the ceremonial dagger.
But she like gets back up. I think like Ash gets like cut in the back with the ceremonial dagger too.
They get thrown like rag dolls.
Yeah, she, like just slaps them and you'll see like Ash
like
flying.
He like flies to the other side.
But
of the
he
room.
hacks her up with the axe, and then eventually Ash and him bury her.
Yeah, they bury her out there, and then they come back inside, and then Scott says he's fucking leaving too.
Yes.
He fucking takes off, and then Linda starts her fucking creepy shit. Yeah, she's like sitting on the floor.
She's like, sitting, like, gets all the other possessions, like, try to kill you, and she was just, like, sitting on the floor laughing.
Yeah.
Like, being all super
it's
creepy.
It's like fucking nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Then Scott comes back, and he's been completely fucked up by the woods.
Yeah, completely. Like, he's been stabbed, like, 100 times all over his body.
Yeah, he's super messed up. And then eventually, like, I think eventually, like, Linda completely ends up attacking Ash, and he ends up, like, pushing her, and she falls on the ceremonial dagger that goes, like, through her. Then he goes to try to bury her, and while he's trying to bury her, she comes back to life, and what he ends up doing is chopping off her head with the shovel.
Yeah.
Like, as she, like, flies through the air trying to get at him, and then he, like, buries that one. He goes back in, and I think Scott is still alive.
Yeah, but he's still fucked up. But then he falls, and then he dies.
Yeah.
Then the sister's hands, that scared the shit out of me. Yeah. The sister's hands come out of, like, underneath the floor, grab him, and then eventually she just busts out of the damn cellar.
Yeah, they start beating the crap out of Ashley until he finally, like, throws the Necronomicon into the fire, and that ends up killing him.
He uses a shotgun at one point. Oh, he has to go back down to the basement to get more shotgun shells.
Yeah.
But yeah, he ends up like blowing off like his sister's arm or some shit.
He like hits her in the shoulder, and I thought she like would have lost like a bigger chunk, because then he's just like looking around because he closed. It's just funny that so many of the windows in the original like get broken, and Ash was like, "Now that the doors are closed, I'm completely safe." Like, no, you're not.
Yeah,
not
these windows are enormous.
Yeah.
It's like a human could just walk through.
But yeah,
easily.
he eventually, they start like beating the crap out of him because Scott comes back as possessed. They start beating the crap. She's got a fire poker, and she's just hitting him with it instead of stabbing him for whatever reason. But he eventually throws the Necronomicon into the fire. And it kills both of them.
Yes, but the one thing that we're missing, which will come into play again, is the little necklace that Ash gives his girlfriend. It looks like a little magnifying glass,
which I wish
and
would have played like a bigger like part.
Yeah,
like, why was it just a magnifying glass?
He can't like reach the book, so he's like throwing the necklace, trying to see if he can catch the book. Finally, he does. He pulls it toward him. He throws it into the fire. The book starts to burn, and then as they're dying, giant like demon hands like come out of their body, and then they just like fall to the ground and like melt away into skeletons. Then Ash waits till the morning, or by this point it turns like morning.
Yeah.
He walks out, and then the last scene that you see is the same again, POV. The camera's like flying through the woods, goes through the cabin, busts the front door open, and then like it gets like a close up of like Ash's face, and then he's just like and then the movie ends right there.
Yeah.
In the new one, it's still a brother and sister, and then there's still
another couple, and then
a friend.
Yeah.
But it's the actually no, it's not another couple. It's Ash. Well, it's not Ash. None of them are the same names, but it's the brother, the sister, his girlfriend, and then the two friends of the sister.
Yes, that's what it is.
And one of them is a nurse.
Yes, and they are there because the sister is like a drug addict, and she's trying to
detox.
She's trying to basically get clean and like do it cold turkey.
So they're gonna go through the detox at this cabin in the woods. Mm-hmm. That's why they're there. However, at the beginning of the movie, which you don't see at all in the original, you see like what we assumed is the professor,
mm-hmm.
and there's like a bunch of other people there that like know all about the Necronomicon, and he kills his daughter
because she's been possessed.
Yes, because she's been possessed, and there's only like 3 ways to do it, and they light her on fire, and then the dad blows her fucking head off,
mm-hmm.
which we assume is the professor.
Yeah. But yeah, you do get to see that, and then it goes into what we had just talked about of them being there, and I don't think necessarily anything super crazy ensues at first, until once again, it's the sister's friend. Like they go downstairs to like check it out. This time they find a shotgun and shells, just like they did in the first one, but this time like the Necronomicon is encased in like it's like a trash bag, and then it's barbed wires wrapped around it basically.
And there's no ceremonial dagger, and there's no recordings either.
Yeah. Also, the brother gives the sister the magnifying glass necklace, so it's not a gift to his girlfriend. And this is like the dumb part, right? Like obviously she starts to kind of like freak out a little. The sister starts to freak out a little bit, which obviously she's going to be going through like withdrawals and stuff like that. But her nurse friend is basically trying to help her, while her other friend is in there just screwing with.
He
like,
opens up the fucking book and just starts reading it.
Yeah,
and it's says like do not read, and he's like, okay, I'll read it.
Yeah, he ends up finding it. Basically says an incantation that releases the demonic spirit. And then again, we get eventually the sister freaks out and is just like, I'm leaving. Steals, I think
she grabs one of the cars.
Yeah, it's her friend's car because it's not her brother's, because the brother drives a Jeep. But steals the car and is driving like away. And as she's driving away, she sees like a demonic figure like in front of her, which is basically, I'm pretty sure, just her like completely possessed.
Yes.
It scares her. She drives off the side and ends up putting like the front of the car into like this tiny little like lake,
Yeah.
Gets out, and as she's leaving, kind of same thing, ends up getting like raped.
Well,
by the
first
forest.
you see the demon.
Yeah.
The demon like comes out of the water at her and scares the shit out of her or whatever. And then she starts running through the woods, like trying to get away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then gets caught. She gets like sexually assaulted like by the woods again.
Yeah.
And then she's like face to face with a demon there. She gets back. And then like right away she gets like possessed.
Well, no, like I think she goes down to like.
Oh
sleep
no!
or
They
something.
are trying to put her to sleep. They're like, go
Yeah.
take a shower. She fucking turns the shower on and like fucking scalding hot
Yeah.
and starts getting like burns on her body.
They have to like pull her out of that, and then her nurse friend gives her like a heavy sedative, and they feel like she should just be asleep. The brother ends up finding their dog, who for whatever reason was named Grandpa, has been like beaten to death with like a mallet, and then so he's just like the only person that could have done this would have been like my sister when she was out. So he goes back in to like check on her, and then like she's possessed basically, and
starts attacking the nurse friend. Vomits a shitload of blood all over her.
yeah, which was super disgusting. And then she like pushes her off, falls down into the cellar, and then they like lock it.
Yeah.
Or they just put the like, it just has one of those like
The latch. It's
yeah.
like a little latch.
Yeah, little lad.
I'm a little lad. Those berries and cream.
Yeah. Then the nurse friend goes into the bathroom, and you know because of all that, it's never explained how like I guess the possession gets kind of like passed. There are certain things where you're just like, oh, that must have been it. But like, because even in the original, you're like, okay, if a possessed person stabs another possessed person, that's how they get possessed. But then it's also like, well, Ash got like beat the shit off and cut a bunch of times and didn't get possessed in the first movie, so it was just like, what the heck? But anyways, she ends up getting possessed and then breaks glass and starts cutting off her like skin on the lower half of her face. Her friend, the other friend, finds her. She ends up like attacking him and stabbing him a bunch. And
oh god, she's like stabbing him with the needle in the leg.
oh no, she stabs him in the shoulder with the glass. She's stabbing with the needle right
into
under
the face
his eye.
and in his hand.
Yeah.
He puts his hand up and the needle's just going into his hand that goes into his
Yeah.
eye. Oh,
He
when he
eventually-
pulls
yeah.
the needle out,
Yeah,
oh
super gross.
god.
But he kills her by bashing her in the head with like a piece of the toilet that gets broken off. So then like he goes off to I think to like relax or whatever, and then he starts to try to tell like the brother kind of what's going on. And then isn't at one point the door just ends up being like opened and the sister gets out and then she gets put back in, and then that time she gets like chained up or whatever.
Yeah, well, she like busts it open because it's just the latch.
Yeah.
They slam it down and then they end up like chaining it that time.
Then the next person to get possessed is the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And her hand starts to get like possessed, and she cuts it off with one of those like electrical like meat carvers. I just remember like because the possessed sister is still able to like poke, and like this happens in the original.
Well, she
too.
goes in. No, it's because she goes in.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
She's like,
And she
"I'm
makes
better
out with
now."
her, right? Yeah.
She's like, I'm better now. Let me out. So she opens it and goes down there, and then the girl's like, you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah,
And then
cuts her tongue on like
with
a
a
blade.
razor blade.
Yeah,
She
makes
just
out with the
licks
girlfriend.
razor
Yeah.
blade.
She gets out, and then like when she, dude, yeah, and I remember that because the brother's looking down at her and was just like, "Come on down here, let me suck your cock, big brother," or something like super.
She doesn't
weird.
even call him brother. She just says like, yeah, like
Yeah.
come down here, let me. Yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, that's when he like chains her up. But yeah, so now because of like probably the makeout session, the girlfriend gets possessed. Her arm starts getting
That's where
possessed.
the nail gun comes into play. He shoots a bunch of nails,
Yeah.
and that's where he runs the chain.
But she cuts her arm off, and while she's cutting it off, the possessed sister like has her like head poked off and just, don't cut it off, bitch, don't cut it off, don't cut it off. Like I thought she was actually gonna save herself by cutting it off. Nope, didn't work. Still ends up being possessed, and then she takes the nail gun
And just starts shooting.
Well, first you hear the like nail gun working, and then when she comes into like light, you could just see shot herself a bunch of times in the face. Then she starts going to town shooting everybody else. And then I think right before she kills the brother, it's the friend that shoots her with the shotgun, I think, right?
Yeah.
And saves him.
Well, no, they shoot her arm. He shoots her
yeah,
other
he shoots
arm off.
shoots
And
the arm
then
off.
she's like laying in his arm. She's like, "Why did you do this to me? Why did you hurt me?" And he's like, "Oh my god." But
And
yeah, that's when they start
yeah.
reading the book and they see that
he
there's like
buries
ways
her,
to...
and then finds out that the only ways to do it, it's either being buried alive, dismemberment, or fire, and those are the only ways to like cure basically the possession or whatever. And then you would like, I assumed that you thought that the friend like ends up dying because he just ends up on the couch, and the brother starts to kind of throw gasoline around the whole house, like he's just gonna set it on fire, which would have worked, but he's just like, no, I'm not taking the easy way out again. So this time goes down there, gets attacked by his sister, and then you find out that the friend was still alive, helps him out, and then like perishes and dies. He injects the possessed person with a bunch of like, something to calm him down or whatever, buries his sister alive, and then kind of like made like with like a battery, and then like
he made like a jump start, like
Yeah.
basically like a defibrillator to bring
Yeah.
her back to life.
Yeah.
So he essentially buries her, kills her, and then brings her back to life. And then you're like, oh, okay, they're going to get away. Except for the friend ends up coming back possessed, stabs the brother in the neck. He starts to be like, I'm going to die. So then he does set the house on fire.
But he saves his sister like on the outside. However,
Yeah.
they read earlier in the book that the whatever demonic possession that was there only needed 5 souls to like be able to come out. So then it starts raining blood. So you have those 4 bodies, and then you count the one at the beginning, which was the professor's daughter. Comes out, and it's literally just, it has the face of the sister, but it's just like the body has no like there's no like I would say like human parts to say, like the demon didn't have any nipples, and there's no like genitals. It's just like a slender body or whatever, and it's just after her. So there's just like kind of like a chase scene until like they go into like the garage. The sister gets the chainsaw, hoping to like be able to just kill it that way.
Which goes back to the chainsaw, which we didn't even mention is in the original.
Yeah.
It's the one that Ash eventually ends up strapping to his arm.
She finally is able to turn it on while hiding under her brother's Jeep. Cuts off one of the demon's legs.
No, both of them.
Oh, is it both of them?
Yeah, she chops off both the demon's legs.
And then while she's trying to crawl out, the demon flips the car, and it lands on the sister's like hand. And so she has to tear her hand off, which was super gruesome.
Yeah.
And then basically you kind of get the homage of like the fact that Ash had a chainsaw for her hand. She uses her like nub to hold it up, and then the other one to like, be able to control and rev it. And then just shoves it right into the demon's face, saws like up and down, like goes all the way down once it goes like all the way through, and then like back up, and then like the floor like just
sucks everything up. So yeah, she ends up being the only survivor, missing an arm.
Yeah. Difference is obviously like the sister survived this time, and the fact that they got rid of a possession, which doesn't happen in the first movie.
Yeah. So like obviously in the original, you have Ash as a survivor. He goes on to make sequels, and this one, the sister like ends up being like, she's probably like, well, I'm completely, if I didn't need drugs, like if I didn't want to do drugs before, I'm using drugs now. So she ends up keeping the only survivor, and that's how that movie ends.
Just wanted to make sure the camera was still on.
How much battery did it say we still had?
I haven't. How do I check that? I didn't want to touch anything for fear of turning
it would have
off.
been on the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah, we said we watched 6 movies, but I don't think we have time to get into the last.
The main difference you got to know about Child's Play and the remake is Mark Hamill did an amazing job voicing Chucky in the remake.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, just real quick, which one do you think is better of the Evil Dead?
Oh, the remake. I like the remake, but I love Ash.
So I think that the original is scarier. I think that the remake is way bloodier.
Yeah.
But the remake had like a cooler story overall. Like they just got right into it in the original. The original fucking nightmare fuel.
Yes.
But the remake had just tons of blood. It was a girl that ends up surviving at the end.
It was
And
the sister instead of the brother,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
and they just there was like an actual like demon to kill,
Yes.
which there wasn't in the original.
In the original Child's Play, you've got Charles Lee Ray, who's a serial killer that uses voodoo to get into the Chucky doll, and then basically the plot from his point of view in like up until I think The Bride of Chucky is just he's trying to use voodoo to get into
A human body.
a human
again.
body. Like that's what he's trying to do.
The remake, there is no serial killer.
It's basically a microchip that went like bad, it gets like messed with so that Chucky is now capable of violence, and basically the AI in the Chucky doll is just like obsessed with like I'm gonna be the best friend that I can
and
be.
like protect the kid. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna like.
Well, it goes from protecting
harm.
the kid, but then he's like pissed off because he feels like people are trying to take him away from his new best friend.
Yeah.
The remake does not touch on the horror or the scare or like the scariness that the original does. Like I don't think it does. Like
Yeah, there's like the part where
you
it
get, like,
basically
some
becomes
cool-
like a mass murder at the
Yeah.
end when they're just like they're in the store
Yeah.
that Aubrey Plaza, the mom, works in.
Yeah.
And he has like knives on drones that are like killing people.
Well, not just that, he also ends up making some of the other dolls be able to come to life and then like attack other people too.
yeah.
So no, it doesn't touch like the scariness and like the fear that you get from the originals. For me, it's the original Child's Play, not the new one.
I don't even remember all the deaths in the new one. I remember there's like a guy who gets killed by like his like machine. He's like tilling his land, and Chucky like trips him or something, and he gets like killed by like a lawnmower.
Oh no,
or some
yeah,
shit.
he wraps
pulls
no
the
he
face.
wraps him up into like Christmas lights and then throws the Christmas lights into like basically like that lawnmower machine
Yeah.
and like pulls him into it.
And then he pulls the face like over a pumpkin or some shit.
No,
like
he
that, or watermelon
gifts him the head
to the kid.
to the kid like, oh yeah, here's the because it's his mom's boyfriend and then the boyfriend has a family.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
And then, but yeah, in the original, he kills the nanny right off the bat, like the mom's best friend, throws her out the window.
then he kills his old partner.
He kills his old partner. He tries to kill the cop.
Yeah, which doesn't work.
He kills the voodoo guy who tells him how to get like into a body. And then that's it, right? He doesn't kill anybody else. He kills those three people. Everybody else he tries to kill, he doesn't end up killing.
Does he kill? No, and he kills the doctor in the mental hospital where the little kids being held.
Yeah. You're right.
But
Yeah,
original.
yeah.
Original for me.
Yeah, I would say the original Chucky also not.
But anyways,
not the
guys,
remake.
quickly before we run out of time here, if you guys want to reach out, number one, hope you guys enjoyed the show. But if you ever want to reach out and talk to me, you can find me at BanditoTito93 on Twitter and Instagram. I'd love to hear from you guys. Junior?
You guys can always send a DM at pops.maniac as well as nerdy.bros.inc on Instagram. Let us know what you guys like about the show. Let us know what you'd like to see on the show, or just let us know that you like the show.
Yeah.
As always, links for the merch will be in the description of the video as well as on the podcast if you're listening. Share it. Let other people know about the podcast. We're really trying to grow the podcast. But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Have a good week.
Yeah, guys, and I hope you guys are enjoying your October spooky months, all right? Okay, bye.